family, Most High in Christ. Bless. This is Officer Hezekiah with IUIC Tallahassee. All right. Real quick, let me do this first. We back at it bright and early. All praise to the Father for another opportunity. Most High in Christ. Bless. This is Officer Hezekiah with IUIC. Okay. All right, so today's topic is ruling well like Simon Maccabees. Ruling well like Simon Maccabees. All right, so I'm gonna get into how it was for us during the time of the Maccabees. Okay, I'm gonna touch on about each son of Mattathias. I'm gonna touch about him first. So I'm gonna kind of go like down down the timeline pretty much of when they was in their revolt against the Grecians. All right. So real quick, 1 second. That's in the way. All right, cool. Yeah, let's make sure we send a prayer for everybody who's sick, man. Send a prayer for everybody who's sick, those who are with child, get ready to have birth, to bring forth healthy children for the nation of Israel. Speedy recovery, all praise to the Father. So I'm gonna go ahead and get straight into it. I'm gonna start at First Maccabees chapter 2. I'm gonna start at verse 1. All right. So it says, in those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the son of Joarib from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin. All right, so Simeon here, it goes into the Hasmonean dynasty. All right, so we're reading about the Hasmonean dynasty with Mattathias and his sons. Okay, and he had 5 sons: Johanan, called Cadus, Simon called Thassi, Judas, who was called Maccabeus, Eleazar called Alvaran, and Jonathan, whose surname was Aphis. So Mattathias had 5 sons. He had Judas, Jonathan, Simon, Eleazar, and Johanan. All right. So from there, I'm gonna go to chapter 2, verse 24. I'm gonna jump up. All right. So matter of fact, I'm gonna start at verse 19. Then it said, then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice, though all the nation that are under the king's dominion obey him and fall away from everyone from the religion of their fathers and give consent to his commandments, yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. Hey, I love reading about this history because it shows you the fortitude that they had, right? The fortitude they had for the laws of God. It doesn't matter if their life was on the line, they understood, okay, if I stand stiffly for the word of God, I will be okay. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get some precepts to back that up. All right, so this is Sirach chapter 4, verse 28. It says, strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. All right, so it said, the Lord shall fight for thee. Another thing that I like that Mattathias said about him, he said, me and my sons, excuse me, I'm trying to get over this sickness too. It said, me and my sons, we're going to stand up for the laws of God. All right, watch this. I'm going to read Joshua chapter 24 and verse 15. And it says, and if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom ye will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. That's how each and every last one of us have to be. We have to have that mindset. It doesn't matter what the circumstance is, doesn't matter who it may be. Whatever the case may be, me and my house is going to serve the Lord. All right. All right. So I'm going to read that again. It's First Maccabees 2 and 19. Matter of fact, verse 20. It said, yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. So he said, God forbid that we should forsake the law. Forsake the law. I'm going to jump up to verse 24. It says, which thing when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed. Matter of fact, I got to read verse 23. I gotta read verse 23. All right, so it said, now when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar which was at Modin according to the king's commandment. Excuse me. So remember, they was having a sacrifice in unlawful meat, swine flesh. They had a sacrifice in swine flesh upon the altar. So we had a Jew that came out, and he was doing that according to the king's commandment. Now, verse 24, it says, which thing when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled, neither could he forbear to show his anger according to judgment. Wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar. He couldn't resist. He seen like this guy is going, one of the Jews, one of his own kindred, going against the law of the God to do what the man says. That's why the scriptures tell us we ought to obey God rather than man. It doesn't matter who it is or what the circumstance may be. We ought to obey God rather than man. All right, so verse 25. Also, the king's commissioner who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time, and the altar he pulled down. So he said that even the king commissioner that was there making our people, compelling our people to do these sacrifices, he also killed him too. It kind of make you think about Moses when he saw the Egyptians striving. Two people of Israel. Well, hold on. He saw the Egyptian going against one of his brothers. He rose up and slew the brethren. Then the next day, he seen two of his own brother going back at it, back and forth, and they're like, "Hey, are you going to kill it like you did the Egyptians?" To show you that at the same time, our people were never right as well, and we're going to touch about that more as well later on in this class. All right, so yeah, it reminds me of that. Verse 26, it said, thus that he zealously for the law of God, like as Phineas did unto Zambri, the son of Salom. All right, so let's get that real fast. Phineas. I'm going to go to Numbers 25. I'm going to start at verse 6. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren, a Midianitish woman, in the sight of Moses and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel. When you read from verse 1, we were going after the children of Moab, the women of Moab, and we were committing sacrifices unto their gods. Our hearts was going after their gods, after Baal Peor, right? So after a lot of us was being killed, you have one of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. So people were still crying, still weeping, and they say, you know what? I'm gonna bring in this Midianitish woman. You understand? I'm gonna bring this Midianitish woman who y'all just seen what happened when we were going after the children of Moab and how we served their God, how the Lord had judgment upon us. I'm gonna still do this unlawful, this vile thing. Verse 7. And when Phineas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, the men of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. So that's why the Lord said he was zealous for the law, like Phineas. He was just like Phineas at this time. All right, for Maccabees 2, verse 27. Then Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaining the covenant, let him follow me. All right, so he said, okay, if you're going to stand 10 toes down for the God laws, follow me. Follow me. All right, that just made me think about just in today's time, right? Right now, we're not resistant to blood. We're not at war. We're at a spiritual war, but we're not at war like with guns, weapons, things of that nature, right? Every pagan holiday, we have a escape the hell day, but the congregations be dead. So it makes you think about, okay, or is everybody really zealous for the law? No, it ain't no way. It ain't no way you telling me the days that the world was shut down for these days. The world they don't regard the 7-day Sabbath like we do. All right. They don't regard that, but they'll shut down for Thanksgiving. They'll shut down for Christmas. All right. They'll do that. And on these days, you have where the congregation is dead. Majority of everybody doesn't have to work. All right. You don't have to work, whatever the case may be. If you do have to work, come and when you get off work, right? But when you look at the congregation, like, oh, well, yeah, where is everybody at? Are you really zealous? Do you really believe in what you're reading, what you say you're a part of? That's on you, right? But let me get back to the topic. Let me get back. All right, so first Maccabees 2, verse 49. All right, now when the time drew near that Mattathias should die, he said unto his sons, now have pride and rebuke gotten strength in the time of destruction and the wrath of indignation. Now, therefore, my sons, be zealous for the law. So he's speaking about Esau. They got their strength. The wrath of indignation was coming upon them, right? So he said, now, therefore, my sons, be zealous for the law and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers. So he was prepping them. He was prepping the sons. He was prepping his sons. Hey, look, be zealous for the laws of God. All right, this is how you make sure you stand stiffly. This is how you make sure you continue to keep moving forward. Just like how King David had talk with his King Solomon. It said, I'm gonna show you how to be a man. All right. Verse 51. Call to remembrance what acts of our fathers did in their time, so shall you receive great honor and an everlasting name. All right, so we have to always call to remember what our forefathers did. That's why Romans 15:4 says, whatsoever written in foretime were written for our learning, that through patience and comfort of scriptures we might have hope. We got to go back, meditate upon what our forefather did. Meditate about how faithful Abraham was. Meditate how meek Moses was. Meditate how Abraham was a warrior. King David was a warrior. Mattathias and his sons, warriors. Meditate upon these things. Joshua with nothing to play with. All right, meditate upon these things. This is going to help us continue to keep pushing forward. All right. Now, verse 65. It says, and behold, I know that your brother Simon is a man of counsel. Give ear unto him always. He shall be a father unto you. So Mattathias, he knew the spirit upon his son. So he said, out of my sons, I know Simon is going to be the counselor, right? He's going to be like a father unto the nation of Israel. Now, verse 66, it says, as for Judas Maccabeus, he had been mighty and strong, even from his youth up. Let him be your captain and fight the battle of the people. He's seen that spirit upon Judas. He said, you know what? He's gonna be the leader. He's gonna be the leader that's gonna get things done. He gonna go to war. He ain't gonna play no games. All right, verse 67. Take also unto you all those that observe the law. You got to understand, during these times that we were losing our lives, we read Second Maccabees 7. When you read about Eleazar, not Mattathias' son Eleazar, the other one, right? In the time of Maccabees, everybody who died for the Lord, they died on the laws of God. They said they stood 10 toes down for the laws of God. It's just like how it says in Psalms 94 and verse 16. So it says, who shall rise up for me against the evildoers? And who shall stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? Against the workers of iniquity. So we got to be the ones who are going to stand up for the Lord. So that's why he said, look, verse 67 in First Maccabees 2, take also unto you all those that observe the law. So he given his sons counsel. He said, look, in order to get things moving, in order to get things popping, right? You got to surround yourself with those who observe the law and they actually do it. And avenge ye the wrong of your people. You can't revenge the wrong of your people if you're not surrounding yourself with those who observe the law. All right. The laws of God, our application of God's law, that's what people say, that's the secret sauce. The application of God's laws in the faith of Christ. That's what it is. That's our strength. That's how we're going to get up out of here. That's that's our strength. Real quick, real quick. Let me get Isaiah. Excuse me. Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 6. It says, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure." So our strength come through the scriptures. Our strength come through Christ, right? Now, watch this. Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 28. "Hast thou not known, hast thou not heard, that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary. There is no searching of his understanding." Because he's infinite. All right. "He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might, he increases strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young man shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint." So our strength comes from the Lord. So he says in First Maccabees 2 and 67 again, it says, "Take also unto you all those that observe the law, and avenge ye the wrong of your people." You don't have no strength in you if you're not standing upon the laws of God. If you're not going to wait upon the Lord, if you don't have that wisdom and knowledge, all right, no, you're not applying the laws of God. We don't have that strength if we don't do these things. All right, verse 68, "And recompense fully the heathen, and take heed to the commandments of the law." Take heed to the commandments of the law. So I'm going to jump up to chapter 3. I'm going to read 1 through 7. Yeah. Then his son Judas, called Maccabees, rose up in his stead, and all his brethren helped him, and so did all they that held with his father, and they fought with cheerfulness the battle of Israel. That's something to take in consideration. They brothers, they're working on one accord, right? Working on one accord. The brother helped them, and everybody that was assisting, they did the work cheerfully. They did the work cheerfully. They did the work cheerfully. They were fighting wars, but I said they did the work cheerfully. Because I'm relaying it back in today's time, right? Right now, we're not, like I said, we're not resistant to blood just yet across the whole nation, but they was going to war cheerfully. They did this cheerfully. So he got his people great honor, and put on breastplates as a giant, and girt his warlike harness about him, and he made battles, protecting the host with his sword. In his acts he was like a lion's whelp roaring for his prey. So Judas was a fierce man. All right. He pursued the wicked and sought them out, and burnt up those that vexed his people. Wherefore the wicked shrunk for fear of him, and all the workers of iniquity were troubled, because salvation prospered in his hand. He agreed also many kings, and made Jacob glad with his acts, and his memorial is blessed forever. Judas' memorial is blessed forever. Let's get one of those. I'm going to Second Maccabees 15 real quick. Second Maccabees 15 real quick. Matter of fact, it says something like how the wicked shrunk in his sight, right? The wicked shrunk in his sight. Let me real quick. Let me get this out of Proverbs. Da-da-da-da. If I can remember where it's at. Ugh. Might have to come back to it. All right. Yeah. This is Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 8. It says, "A king that sitteth in his throne of judgment scattereth away all evil with his eyes." I know this is going into King David. Um, but when it says a king that sitteth in the throne of judgment scatter away all evil with his eyes, they see the evil. They see what's going on, and the people understand, okay, like these leaders are nothing to play with. All right. That's why when it come down to certain that's why when people are in the proximity of certain leaders, they want to make sure they have the upright behavior. They understand that they see the evil what's going on. People who are of sin, they don't want to come around the leaders like this. All right, they don't want to be around them. They want to stray away. They want to stay in the back because they know they're gonna be spotted out. All right, so it says, a king that sitteth in the throne of judgment scather away all evil with his eyes, just from his presence alone. Now, I'm gonna go one of the acts of Judas Maccabees. This is Second Maccabees chapter 15 and verse 26. This says, but Judas and his company encountered the enemies. 25. Let me start at 25. Then the Canaan and they that was with him came forward with trumpets and songs. And Judas and his company encountered the enemies with invocation and prayer. So that fighting with their hands and praying unto God with their hearts, they slew no less than 35,000 men. For through the appearance of God they were greatly cheered. So they killed 35,000 men. They said they were fighting with their hands, but the whole time they're praying to the Lord with their hearts. All right. Now, when the battle was done, returning again with joy, they knew that Nicanor, or excuse me, Nicanor, lay dead in his harness. Then they made a great shout and a noise, praising the Almighty in their own language. And Judas, who was ever the chief defender of the citizens, both in body and mind, and who continued his love towards his countrymen all his life, commanded to strike off Nicanor's head and his hand with his shoulder and bring them to Jerusalem. So those were one of his warlike acts. You know, he was like a lion. He was fierce. That's one of the things that he did. He the destruction of Nicanor or Nicanor, however you want to say it. Either might regardless. But yeah, he destruction of that guy that was behind the hands of Judas through the spirit of the Lord. Then you have the rededication of the temple. Judas behind that too. So that's some of his acts. Now I'm gonna go to First Maccabees chapter 9. Chapter 9, verse 27. Chapter 9, verse 27. It says, did I miss something? I skipped something. Yeah. Yeah, First Maccabees chapter 9, verse 27. So was there a great affliction in Israel, and like I did skip something. Hold on. I just read it and I skipped it. Yes, the death of Judas. All right, so First Maccabees 9, verse 27. So was there great affliction in Israel, and light whereof was not sensed in a time that a prophet was not seen among them. For this cause all of Judah's friends came together and said unto Jonathan, since thy brother Judas died, who we have no man like him to go forth against our enemies and Bacchides and against them of our nation that are adversaries to us. So this is after Judas had passed away, after the war he was in. The people of Israel came to Jonathan, one of his brothers, okay, one of Mattathi's sons, and they said, "All right, look, we don't have nobody to fight our wars no more. They seen the acts of what Judas and his brother was doing. All right." So, but then like, okay, and also the adversaries of our people, because we always have wicked amongst our people that was kind of going against our own and consenting with the heathens. All right. So verse 30, it says, now therefore we have chosen thee this day to be our prince and captain in his stead, that thou mightest fight our battles. Upon this, Jonathan took the governance upon him at that time, and rose up instead of his brother Judas. So Jonathan rose up. It was his time to lead the people, and he rose up. All right, watch this. I'm gonna jump up to verse 73 real quick, and it says, "Thus the sword ceased from Israel, but Jonathan dwelt in Michmash, and began to govern their people, and he destroyed the ungodly men out of Israel." All right, one thing I do like when I read about the Maccabees is that they always got rid of the wicked. All right, they always got rid of the wicked. They understand that, like, you cannot build with wicked people. All right. First Maccabees 11:21, real fast. All right, watch this. And it says, then certain ungodly persons who hated their own people went unto the king and told him that Jonathan besieged the tower. You have to understand the wicked of our people, the ungodly men of our people, they hate their own people. They hate their own nation. That's why the Lord told us on numerous occasions to get away from them. All right. He said, look, you have to move away from them. If you want to make sure that you are continuing to strive in the truth, you have to remove yourself from the wicked of our own people as well. We got to overcome our own sins, the sins of this world, and we got to make sure that our surrounding is right. To make it simple, be around the leaders because wisdom comes from the top down. I'm gonna read two real quick. This is John chapter 3. John chapter 3, verse 19. And said, and this is the condemnation that light is coming to the world. And men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. All right. So our brothers, some of our brothers and sisters, they love sin. They love to stay in their sin. They love the flesh. All right. Oh, all of us, we all have something we battle. We must overcome it. Watch this. For everyone that doeth evil hated the light. They hate being around the light. They hate being around the leaders or sister. Hate being around the senior sister, the women that have been there for years, keeping the laws of God faithfully. Right? For everyone that doeth evil hateth the light, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. They don't want to be seen. That's why when you have times where there might be a leadership circle going on and the scriptures are coming out, you have brothers sitting way in the back. You have them sitting way in the back, and and at first they might be somebody who started off like fiery, right? They start off real fiery. You see them, they staying late. They there early, staying late. They ask the question. They always up at the table like, hey, I'm just want to learn. And then something happens. Something happens. All right. You start checking. Okay, who are they hanging? Who are they hanging around? Who are they talking to? It'll show you what's happening to you, or happening to them. All right, it'll show you what's happening to them. You see, okay, now their environment and they hang around this brother or they hang around this sister, and then they spirit to start to decline. All right, watch this. This is Second Timothy 2 and verse 20. I'm gonna start at 20. But in the great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of earth, and some to honor and some to dishonor. All right. So in the nation of Israel, you have people that's unto honor, and you have some that just ain't no damn good. This is plain simple to say it plain and simple. All right. If a man therefore purge himself from these, purge yourself from the ones that are to dishonor. You purge yourself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor. So if you purge yourself from the dishonorable, be around the ones who are going to push you to be great. Be around the ones who are better than you so you can uh meet their standards. Not someone that's going to be worse than you. Now you playing down to the competition for those who have a sports background, or you staying in a comfortable state. You should be around the ones who are going to make you feel uncomfortable, and you're going to be pushing you forward. All right, and you pushing them forward at the same time because you want to make sure that you on point like that. How they is, they see you in certain ways. Like it feeds off each other. But if you want to stay around the ones who ain't no good, you're not going to be a vessel unto honor. So I'm gonna read it again, verse 21. If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work. All right, so you have to watch your surroundings. Watch your surroundings. I love the fact that during the time of the Maccabees, that Mattathias and his sons, they got rid of the wicked of Israel. Because you cannot, like I said earlier, you cannot build with somebody like that. You have to get away the sin. You have to remove it. Because sins hold back blessings. Sin will hold back blessings. You can't fight for the nation of Israel. You can't keep going to war. Man, you go to war with somebody who's in it, like who's a traitor, who plotting against you, who's in the midst of sin. They can get everybody killed. Y'all read Joshua. Y'all read it. By the time they stole the Babylonian garment, got a lot of people killed. All right. I'm gonna go back to First Maccabees 9, not 9, chapter 11 this time. First Maccabees chapter 11. Let me go there. Matter of fact, before I get that, something just came into mind. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 18. It says, wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroyeth much good. All right. So you can be doing a whole lot of work, but that work can just like get nowhere. It's like you're working in vain. And that is frustrating. That is a waste of time. All right. Watch this. Sirach to the 34 and verse 23. When one buildeth and another putteth down, what profit have they then but labor? It's like you working in circles, taking 2 steps forward to take 3 steps back. It doesn't get anywhere. It's like, okay, we're doing the work, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this, we're doing that. So why the congregation not growing? It's the people. It's the spirit. It is the spirit. That's what it is. It's the spirit. All right. I had another one too, real quick. Jeremiah 5 and verse 25. It says, your iniquities have turned away these things, and your sins have withholden good things from you. So when we have that, when you have sin within yourself, when you have sin around you, the wrong people around you, it can withhold blessings. It can and it will withhold blessings. All right, so First Maccabees chapter 11 and verse 67. All right. Yeah. As for Jonathan and his hosts, they pitched at the water of Gennesaret, from whence betimes in the morning they gat them to the plain of Nasir. And behold, the host of strangers met him in the plain, who, having led the men in ambush for him in the mountains, came themselves over against him. So when they lay, so when they that lay in ambush rose out of their places and joined battle, all that were of Jonathan's side fled, and insomuch and there was not one of them left except Mattathias, the son of Absalom, and Judas, the son of Calphi, the captains of the host. That's messed up. That is messed up. All right. So everybody dipped. But watch this. Verse 71. Then Jonathan rent his clothes and cast earth upon his head and prayed. That's another thing, too. When you're reading about the Maccabees, they show that they got rid of the evil. For battles, they always sought out the Lord first. Any situation you can see, they was stiffly upon a God law. They were praying to the Father, they were removing the sin. It's the same thing we ought to be doing today. But watch this. He said, then Jonathan rent his clothes and cast earth upon his head and prayed. Afterwards, turned again to battle. They didn't run from the battle. He said, you know what? You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and pray to the Father. I'm gonna pray to the Father, and we finna go get in this battle. We finna go fight for our nation. So it says, afterwards, turning again to battle, put he he put them to flight, and so they ran away. Now when his own men that were fled saw this, they turned again unto him, and with him pursued them to Cadiz, even unto their own tents, and there they camped. So when they seen that these three men did not run, And when they prayed to the Lord and they put the people to flight, the one that dipped and left, they said, okay, they winning. Let me go ahead and let me go help. Let me go help now, because we got a chance. All right. But Jonathan didn't do that. He did not do that. They did not run. Him, Mattathias, and Judas, they did not run. All right. All right. So it says, so there was slain of the heathen that day about 3,000 men. But Jonathan returned to Jerusalem. All right. So that's what one another son of Mattathias. All right. Now let's get into Simon. Let's get into Simon. All right. So now, First Maccabees 13 and verse 1. It says, now when Simon heard that Tryphon had gathered together a great host to invade the land of Judea and destroy it, and saw that the people was in great trembling and fear, he went up to Jerusalem and gathered the people together. All right, so he gathered the people together, and this is what he says, and gave them exhortation, saying, ye yourselves know what great things I and my brethren and my father's house had done for the laws and the sanctuary, the battles also and the troubles which we have seen. All right. So he said, look, and y'all remember what we did for the laws of God. Y'all seen the battle. You seen the house of my father. You seen me and my brothers fight these wars. It says, verse 4, by reason whereof all my brethren are slain for Israel's sake, and I am left alone. He said, look, all my brothers are gone. And they gave their life up for Israel's sake. Now, therefore, be it far from me that I should spare my own life in any time of trouble, for I am no better than my brother. So he's like, look, he's seen it. He said, okay. Jonathan rose up. Judas rose up in their father's stead, won many wars. When Judas died, Jonathan rose up. All right. I know Eleazar got killed in one of the battles. Trying to get a name for himself. He ended up getting himself killed, and the elephant fell on him. And then can't really remember about Joanna. All right, but he got killed in battle too. All right, so Simon's the only one left. So now it's Simon's turn to rise up for his nation. All right. So it says, doubtless I will avenge my nation and my sanctuary, and our wives and our children, for all the heathen are gathered to destroy us of very malice. Now, as soon as the people heard these words, their spirit revived. So you have to understand, like, our people was in distress. There was they was going through they were distraught, they were going through a bad time. All right, they seen the host come against them again. They seen the war. They're like, okay, all the leaders, they gone, they not here. Simon rose up like, nah, I'm not gonna sit by. I'm no better than my brothers. I will fight for my nation. I'm gonna make sure we get our kids back, our wives back. I'm gonna do it for the sanctuary. I'm gonna do it for the laws of God. All right, I'm gonna jump up the verse. I'm gonna jump up to verse 10. Matter of fact, I'm gonna keep reading. And they answered with a loud voice, saying, thou shalt be our leader instead of Judas and Jonathan thy brother. Fight thou our battles, and whatsoever thou commandest us, that we do. So then he gathered together all the men of war, and made haste to finish the walls of Jerusalem, and he fortified it round about. So the first thing he went ahead and went straight to the work. All right, so look, we got to go ahead and get this wall back up. We got to get this. We got to get this place secured. Straight to the work. Straight to the work. Hold on. Watch this. Mind to work. All right. Hold on. Hit up. All right. So yeah, he got straight to work. Leaders lead by example. All right. Leaders lead by example. Our leadership, the bishops, the deacons, the captains, they lead by example. They do the work faithfully. Simon rose up in that stead, went straight to the work. All right, this is Nehemiah chapter 4 and verse 6. And it says, so built we the wall, and all the wall was joined together unto the half thereof. For the people had a mind to work. We got to have a mind to work. Why? Because we got to get out of this captivity. All right, just like how our forefathers were moving in the spirit through our battles, we have to do the same thing to get up out this captivity. I'm gonna go to Micah real quickly. Chapter 4 and verse 10. It said, "Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail." It said, "Be in pain and labor." It also told it. It also tells us it's a light thing to wake up the 12 tribes. It's a light thing, so we have to put in the work. Whatever office that you are part of, all right. Whatever office you're part of, if you are part of flyers, if you are part of video edit, whatever the case may be, go all out for the Lord. All right, go all out for it. Put all your might, put all your strength, because you can never do enough. You can never do enough. All right, and if you even if you feel like you are doing enough, you are not doing enough. All right, this is Sirach chapter 43 and verse 30. It said, "When ye glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as ye can. For even yet will he far exceed. And when ye exalt him, put forth all your strength, and be not weary, for ye can never go far enough." So the scripture is telling, like, look, when you come to serve the Lord, hey, go all out. You can never go far enough. Don't be weary. See what else you can do. Hey, can I help with this? Can I help with that? Can I assist with this? Whatever the case may be, all right? As I'm telling you, I'm telling myself, whatever we can do, we got to do with all our might and seeing what else we can do. Like, what's next? All right. Now let me go back. The first Maccabees 13, and this time I'm gonna pick up at verse 33. It said, "Then Simon built up the strongholds in Judea and fenced them about with high towers and great walls and gates and bars, and laid up victuals therein." This is more stuff that Simon was doing. All right, so from this point, I'm gonna go up to verse 42. It said, "Then the people of Israel began to write in their instruments and contracts in the first year of Simon the high priest, the governor and leader of the Jews." He was a governor and leader of the Jews. He was the governor and leader of the Jews. Watch this. This is Sirach chapter 10, verse 1. It said, "A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered." We're going to get into this a little bit later. But remember, they call Simon the governor and the leader of the Jews. All right, first Maccabees 13 and verse 43. "In those days Simon camped against Gaza and besieged it round about. He made also an engine of war and set it by the city, and battered a certain tower and took it. And they that were in the engine leaped into the city, whereupon there was a great uproar in the city, insomuch as the people of the city rent their clothes and climbed up the walls, and their wives and their children, and cried with a loud voice, beseeching Simon to grant them peace. And they said, Deal not with us according to our wickedness, but according to thy mercy. So Simon was appeased toward them and fought no more against them, but put them out of the city and cleansed the houses wherein the idols were, and so entered into it with songs and thanksgiving." So he was cleansing the sins from the places. He was cleansing the sins, cleansing the evil people and the sins. All right, watch this. "Yea, he put all uncleanness out of it, and placed such men that as would keep the law, and made it stronger than it was before." You see, it's the laws of God. The laws of God. All right, that's our strength. That's going to make us stronger. Get rid of the sin, application of God laws. We will get stronger. All right. Watch this. And built therein a dwelling place for himself. I'm gonna read verse 48 again. It said, "Yea, he put all uncleanness out of it, and placed such men there as would keep the law." All right, he had to put men in these places, and that he knew that was gonna keep the law. All right, and made it stronger than it was before. And once we do that, it's gonna be better than it was before. You get rid of the ones who ain't doing right, moving wrong, or the Lord decide to move the ones that are not moving right and doing wrong, and place people that's willing to do what he says, it's going to be better than it was before. All right. The only thing is, we don't know when the Lord said, "All right, it's time to remove you out the way." We don't know that. That's the scary part about it. So whatever we got going on, whatever the case may be, whatever you got going on, it's like it's not worth losing your life over. I'm telling you, it's not worth losing eternal life over. All right. We can let it go. Just like for an example, I made reference to escaping the hell day and nobody shows up in the congregation. It's not worth that daggone damn Christmas tree in your daggone house. And or you going to grandma in them house, going to mom in them house, because she got some good. She got you a present. You understand? She got you some food, and it ain't worth it. You understand? So we don't know when the Lord said, "All right, that's enough." We don't know that. That's the scary part about it. So it behoove every last one of us is whatever the case, whatever you got going on, to fix it. All right. So it said, yea, he put all uncleanness out of it and placed such men there as was keep the law and made it stronger than it was before. You got to think about it. The Lord said he replaced every last one of us. He said, I can raise up stones to be the children of Israel. All right. It doesn't matter that we know who we are, that we keep in the commandment, that we go to the Sabbath, that we show up there once a week, whatever the case may be. That doesn't matter. All right. It doesn't matter. Like that doesn't guarantee your spot. Okay, you keep the Sabbath. All right. What about everything else? What about behind closed doors? Things of that nature. But he can replace either one of us, and it's going to be better once the replacement happens. All right. It's our job to make sure that we don't get replaced. That's what it is. And he said it made it stronger than it was before, and built therein a dwelling place for himself. They also of the tower in Jerusalem were kept so straight that they could neither come forth nor go into the country, nor buy nor sell. Wherefore they were in great distress for want of victuals. All right, and great number of them perished through famine. Then cried they to Simon, beseeching him to be one with them, and which thing he granted them. And when he had put them out from thence, he cleansed the tower from pollutions and entered into it 3 and 20th, excuse me, and entered into it the 3 and 20th day of the second month, in the 171st year, with thanksgiving and branches of palm trees, and with harps and cymbals, and with vows and hymns and songs, because there was destroyed a great enemy out of Israel. All right, so the Lord, not the Lord, um, through the Spirit of the Lord, Simon cleansed these places, all right, and made this is where the day of Simon comes from. All right. Watch it, verse 52. He ordained also that the day should be kept every year with gladness. Moreover, the hill of the temple that was by the tower he made stronger than it was. And there he dwelt himself with his company. And it says, and when Simon saw that John, his son, was a valiant man, he made him captain of all the host, and he dwelt in Gaza. This son of Simon is John Hyrcanus. That is John Hyrcanus. All right, so let me go into more of how these. This is how it was when Simon was ruling at this time. All right, I'm gonna read chapter 14 and verse 4. I'm gonna read 4 through 15, and it says. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read a little bit more. All right, so chapter 14, this is the first Maccabee, chapter 14, verse 4. As for the land of Judea, that was quiet of the days of Simon, for he sought the good of his nation in such wise, and at that evermore his authority and honor pleased them well. So in the time of Simon, the nation was at ease. The nation was at ease. The way the things were set up, it was at ease. He was a man of war. He was also wise as well. Remember, Mattathias saw that within Simon. He said, he's going to be a father unto y'all. Make sure you listen to him always. All right. Now it says, verse 5, and he was honorable in all his acts. So in this, that he took Joppa for a haven and made an entrance to the isles of the sea. All right. And enlarged. Yep. And enlarged the bounds of his nation and recovered the country, and gathered together a great number of captives, and had the dominion of Gaza and Basura, and the tower, out of the which he took all uncleanness, neither was there any that resisted him. Then did they till the ground in peace, and the earth gave her increase, and the trees of the field their fruit. So in this time, it was peace. We were tilling the ground in peace. We had the increase of the field. All right. The ancient men sat all in the street, communing together of good things, and the young man put on glorious and warlike apparel. He provided victual for the cities and set in them all manner of ammunition, so that his honorable name was renowned unto the end of the world. He made peace in the land, and Israel rejoiced with great joy. Whew. Simon was a bad man. You gotta think about it. He was a bad man. During the time of his brothers, they was going to war. They was handling their business. They were doing that. But at this time, we had peace. For this amount of time when he was ruling, we had peace. All right, so verse 12. For every man sat under his vine and his fig tree, and there was none that frayed them, neither was there any left in the land to fight against them. Yea, the kings themselves were overthrown in those days. All right, so Solomon was he was a prudent man. All right, he had the government well ordered. He removed sin. He made sure he replaced the replacement with the right ones for people who would keep the laws of God. He was a prudent man, and it caused peace amongst the nation. It caused increase as well. And it says, verse 14, moreover, he strengthened all those of his people that were brought low. He was helping out the people. He was helping out the nation of Israel. The law he searched out, searching the laws of God, and every contemptor of the law and wicked person he took away. So anybody who were going against the laws of God, he removed them out of the way. All right. He beautified the sanctuary and multiplied the vessels of the temple. I'm gonna jump up to verse 29 now. It says, for as much as oftentimes there had been wars in the country, wherein for the maintenance of their sanctuary and the law, Simon the son of Mattathias, of the prosperity of Jerusalem, together with his brethren, put themselves in jeopardy, and resisting the enemies of their nation, did their nation great honor. For after that, Jonathan had gathered his nation together, and had been their high priest, and was added to his people. These enemy purposed to invade their country, that they might destroy and lay hands on the sanctuary. At which time Simon rose up and fought for his nation, and spent much of his own substance. He spent much of his own substance. All right, so he spent much of his own. I thought I heard something. He spent much of his own substance, right? We don't see the sacrifices that leaders be making. We don't see that. We don't see when it come down to the sanctuary, how the leaders themselves are putting in money to make sure the lights stay on. Things like that. Okay, all praise we have people that get on, but we don't see the one that make sure, okay, these got to make sure this has to come in all the time. If not, the light's not gonna stay on. Whatever the case may be, we don't see the sacrifice that the leaders be making. All right. I'm gonna read it again. At which time Simon rose up and fought for his nation, and spent much of his own substance, and armed the valiant men of his nation, and gave them wages. So he even armed the valiant men and gave these men wages, and fortified the cities of Judea together with Bosur, that lied upon the borders of Judea, with the armor of the enemies had been before. But he set a garrison of Jews there. Moreover, he fortified Joppa, which lieth upon the sea, and Gazara, that bordered upon Azotus, where the enemies had dwelt before. He placed Jews there, furnished them with all things convenient for the reparation thereof. The reparation thereof. Watch this. This is Proverbs, real quick. Let me get it. Proverbs 24 and verse 6. It said, for by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, and in the multitude of counselors there is safety. All right, so you can see how these are wise moves that Simon was doing. These are wise moves that Simon was doing. All right, he was setting them things in place. He was putting the right people in place to make sure that the nation was good. I'm gonna go back to Sirach chapter 10, chapter 10, verse 1 and 2 this time. So it says, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered, as the judge of the people is his, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. So Simon was showing himself to be a prudent man, real cautious, real well thought out. He thought he was setting things in place. He put garrisons here. He took these places, made it a fortress. He made this place. He fortified the wall. He was putting things in place to a point where we had peace. And when you read about it as well, Rome heard how well he was doing, how well he was being talked about, and they want to renew the friendship that they made with Judas and Jonathan. All right. Even Demetrius, when he heard, he said, I'm trying to make a friendship with you too. But eventually, I think it was Demetrius' son or one or two. It was somebody, but they eventually they set up Simon and two of his sons and got him killed. All right, but he was a man well ordered. He was a prudent man. So it says a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of the prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. So he was a wise person, and you got to think about it. Once somebody in that position, everything else can flourish. When a wise person in that position, when a prudent man is taking over, everything else can flourish. All right. And it said, what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. All right. And verse 3, an unwise king destroys his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. That's how you know he was really prudent. He was able to inhabit these different places. All right. All right. So I'm gonna end right there. I'm gonna have to log. I'm gonna end right there. Hey, Lord's will you get something from today's class? And let's be more like our forefathers, being prudent, being stiff for the laws of God, removing the wicked, the sin within us, the sinful people, and continue to keep pushing forward. All right. So I'm gonna say shalom, most high and Christ bless.